but it's like the puppet
Okay.
house. It's like the puppet house where like the people go into the house, they turn into puppets. And yeah, it was just Angie looking at some of the images, like they're just scary.
Yeah, they're very disturbing.
And I mean
I
it's
I'm gonna
legitimately
have to look at
creepy.
these images.
They're very creepy. Yeah, I could see how this wouldn't transfer over into anime because, like, the shading that he does, the art style for sure.
It's kind of like how they tried to
Like,
do Berserk. Like
uh,
rest in peace to the creator of Berserk. The manga for Berserk is amazing. He put so much. It took so long to come out with so many chapters because of all the work that he put into just the artwork. And when they try to translate it into anime, they just don't care as much. They don't put as much work into it.
this is
Uh,
Trey creepy. Like,
yeah,
woo, no, thank you.
yeah. And I mean, Junji Ito, he still does stuff today, and I mean, his stuff is just. And you look at like you actually look at him. If you found a picture of him, he looks like an unassuming Japanese man. Like
Right? I think I just saw a picture of him. I'm like, oh,
it's so funny. He looks like a
oh,
random
high
Japanese
five.
that you see on the street, but
Yeah.
like his mind just works
You
differently.
would think like a Tim Burton kind of looking guy would represent like that
Yeah,
kind of art style, but no, you're right. He's
uh,
very, very regular looking.
his stories just out of like out of the box, like just things you wouldn't necessarily think of. You have like our American horror guys. You have your Freddy, you have your Jasons, you have your Leatherfaces, you have those guys. You have your Chuckies, and I mean like a lot of those are kind of like regular dudes. With something happened with, and it's just, it can be a little scary, but not too much. But I mean, when you go to Junji Ito stuff, like I mean, it's intense. I mean, this man is the grandfather, the grandmaster of for like and when it comes to Japan in the horror genre, his once again, like I said, his mangas you can go and watch some of his animes and some of the chapters. I mean, the episodes are very short, like they're like 2-3 minutes long. You can go and watch some of the stuff and kind of get an idea for it, and be like, oh, that's kind of creepy. But then if you go and watch it, go and read the manga afterwards, you'll be like, oh my god, like, that's terrifying.
Oh
It
wow.
looked terrifying.
Yeah, Tomoe is one of it is like the main one of his main arts, one of his main things. It's about a mortal girl who has admirers. Like she's had admirers over time, and I mean that her whole thing, where she just drives people to do crazy stuff, and it's like Kira take it to like the next level. Kira kind of had
I
his own
was just about
cult
to
in
say
Death Note.
here, yeah.
Yeah, Kira and Death Note had his own kind of cult kind of thing. Well, I mean, she had like a superpower that allowed her. She had a power that allowed her to do that. You've got Uzumaki. It's about a town that it's. I don't want to go into too much because I don't want to spoil things, but you just have to check out his work. The thing, like his artwork, is scary. You'll see it in your dreams. Don't read it before you go to sleep. Don't
Yeah.
read it at night. If you go to bed at midnight, don't read it at 9 o'clock.
That's how I felt about that House on Haunted Hill, or is it not House? Haunting of Hill House. I had
Ah,
nightmares
Oh yeah.
about that. I'm like an adult, and I had nightmares.
and I mean, his
Can't
stuff
do
is
that.
it's easily broken down. Like they're not super long. If you want to just read some horror something real quick, you're just like, oh, I don't get my horror fix. Everybody wants to be scared every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get a short fix? I mean, you can just go and read something real quick. I mean, he has longer volumes, but I mean, everything's kind of sit down, digestible real quick and make you think. It kind of helps for how younger people nowadays, how they can't just sit down and watch a whole 30-minute, hour and a half long movie. They struggle with it. They like to digest information in smaller pieces, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, stuff like that. It's small, digestible information, and I mean, it's some of the scariest stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, ghosts don't bother me too much, but the yokais, which Japanese spirits that twisted his
Oh
stuff. Oh man,
God, I
uh,
forgot about yokai.
yeah. I mean,
All
it
right.
makes you think. It makes you think about what could happen to you today.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a brief summary on Junji Ito. Like I said, people, it's JUNJI space Ito ITO. Look him up.
Perfect.
You get a chance, check him out. If you want if you are a real horrorphile, as they say, horrorphile, somebody who likes horror, and you haven't
Mm-hmm.
heard of Junji Ito, go get your fix. All right, go get you a little
Yeah,
fix real quick.
yeah.
Nice.
That is perfect. That is perfect. Now, I just did the my top five worst Halloween horror movies. This is top five movies that some bitter nerd that is scary that I will never watch again, just because
Oh.
it scared me so much. So the first time. Now it might not hold the test of time. I'm just not going back to it. I'm going to start number five, Possession. Have y'all seen the Possession movie? I think it had Dean Morgan in it, Negan in it.
Decision.
Little
Oh
girl
yeah.
takes a box home. The box possesses her.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you.
I do not like possession movies at all.
Yeah.
Uh, Spirits and stuff like that, I try to stay away from. I don't like
Mm-mm.
it. It makes me cringy. And that movie, I watched it. I was like, oh, all right. And I knew while I was watching it, I was like, I'm not going back to this movie once I finish it. The same with number four. Y'all know Anthony Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all ever seen The Right?
Yeah.
I have not.
Rite.
Same.
It it was
Fishy.
beautifully
Thank you.
suspenseful, but it's about Anthony Hopkins. Spoiler alert: he is a priest he's an exorcist, and something happens when he's training a younger priest to be an exorcist. To take a spirit out of a woman, the spirit comes into him, and it was a great acting job because
Mhm.
to this day, I do not want to watch that. I don't like I said, I don't like Exorcist movies.
Mhm.
Angie, you say you've seen it. How do you feel about the movie?
I saw it a long time ago. I think like right around when it came out. So I
Yes,
don't
me
really
too.
remember a lot about what happened, but I think there's like a twist at the end, isn't there, where that involves Anthony Hopkins himself?
See, all I can remember is I think the demon that was actually in him was one of the devil or something like that.
Yeah,
So, but I
that's
Mhm.
what I
just
thought too.
when I'm thinking about that movie, I just like I'm trying to think about something else because it just
Mhm.
it creeps me out every time. I
Yeah,
have not
no.
went back to that movie. Another movie I didn't go back to, Sinister. Sinister is
Mm.
probably not the scariest movie, but it had a lot of jump
Yeah.
scares, and I just hate families that stay in houses that they don't need to. Like I said earlier. And I
Yeah.
think Sinister is one of them. It's eerie, but it's like it has like it was showing how other families died, and there was nothing like extravagant about the deaths. It's just the coldness of it, the callous. Is
Mhm.
like, oh,
Man,
I don't.
you leave Michael Jackson alone, all right?
Stop.
Ooh.
Oh, you say he looked like Michael Jackson? Oh
Buddy,
God.
Ooh.
I heard he when he came out on the screen.
Stop. Oh, poor
Number
Michael.
two is As It Is Below. Have y'all seen that about
Yes.
the adventurers go in the sewers and they really are like
They go,
enter
yeah,
like a
that was
passage of
weird.
hell? That
The
movie
hell?
creeped me out.
No,
I don't
thank
know
you.
Yes.
how I found it. I found it just randomly too, or yeah.
Well, I remember when it was coming out in trailers, I was like, ooh, I like scary movies. I'm like, I want to see it. I was at the theater and I was like, I cannot wait till this ends because my heart is pumping.
It was
I
weird.
don't like movies anyway where, yeah, you remember that movie, The Descent, where they were in that
Yes.
Yeah,
cave and them,
I remember that
Oh
one.
like,
my god, that's
them,
exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, I don't like if you're in a cave or just in enclosure, like something claustrophobic. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
that, and that with the element of demonic spirits in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, no.
I got
As it,
confused for like in the beginning or like in the middle when they were talking about all the stuff. I'm like, what?
yeah.
It took me a minute to kind of like work through what was actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
It was
yes,
weird, but
yes.
I thought it was a good time to watch. Like,
Yes, as it is below. Yeah, is number two definitely. Hey, if y'all go to a scary movie, put a pin in this. Do y'all go to the matinee? That way it's still daytime We
Yo,
gonna leave the movie theater, huh? Because
yo,
I'll do that if I think the movie's gonna be real scary. I'm not ashamed.
I don't care if it's gonna be scary or not. I'm gonna go to the matinee.
I'll
I
probably
go with a
wait.
group of people.
I'll do it at home during the day. I'll watch it at home during the
During the
day.
day,
Yep.
yes.
Hell
I
yeah.
guess I'm weird. I do nights, but I go with the group of people, and I mean we clown. Like we just
Okay,
like
that makes
we're
sense.
we're those obnoxious black people in the movie theater who are like, run, run! What are you
Oh,
doing?
stop,
Why are
yeah.
you following? Oh, she's stupid. Oh, she dead. She dead.
Mm.
Don't go in there. We're those
Look,
people. We're
she
those
she
people.
she hella dead.
Still, one of my favorite commercials to this day is that insurance commercial where they're in that cemetery and they're like, let's get in the rented car. And he's like, no, let's hide behind the chainsaws. I love that
Oh, yeah, I
commercial
Saw
saw
still
that
to
that the
this
other
commercial
day.
day.
today.
Yeah,
I saw
still to this
that.
day, I love this commercial. Oh, let me get to number one. Number one, I seen it the first time, and it's my first time seeing another Olsen twin. Well, it wasn't an Olsen twin, an Olsen sister, but this is the first time I seen Elizabeth Olsen, and it's called The Silent House. Do y'all remember The Silent House?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
And I'm
Elizabeth.
telling you, this movie, this is my list. So I will admit, this movie, if I'm remembering right, it's really not that scary but inside the house, there's something going on, and you don't see no monsters, you don't see nothing, just little stuff moving out of place, and
Mm-hmm.
it. I remember seeing it, and I'm like, "Yep, I ain't watching this again." And usually, when I can make a mental note, that note stays with me, so I ain't watching it again.
Mm-hmm.
It might not even
Yeah.
be scary to this day, but I
Oh
just,
yeah.
like I said, if I see something in my house to start moving across it, I'm like, "All right, U-Haul," and I'm getting movers. I'm not going back in the house. I'm not. You're not
Let
playing me
them
like
deal with
that.
it.
Because
Let
baby,
them
you
deal
can
with it.
keep this house.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take that hit.
Do y'all have any good ones? That's my list. Do y'all have any good movies that y'all seen and like, oh, this movie, I'm not watching this again at all?
Mm,
I think any scary movie, usually I'll
mm,
try to get through it once if I can, and then that's it. I'm not going to go back. Because there's no point.
yeah.
You know what's going on. You've watched it all. Like, you've seen the scary parts. I don't think I have anything.
I don't. I'm not a big Halloween person. Like I can't say Halloween. I'm not a big scary movie person. Let me rephrase that.
I mean, I like I said earlier, man. The Countess of the Fourth Kind. That's about the only thing that scared the living daylights out of me. Um, Never again. I don't even want to. Like, I literally tear up when I like
Mila
when I.
Jovovich is or who the
There
actress
we
is.
go. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
Jovovich. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
That it just. I mean,
Great nerd. Great nerd mind you got. She
got an
pulled that
info.
out of the air.
well, she was in all the Resident Evil movies, and I really
Exactly. Okay,
liked
I thought
those.
so. I
Yeah,
thought so.
so
Mm-hmm.
See, I just call her Ultraviolet
yeah, I liked
or
that one
Oh,
too.
Lulu. Or Lulu. Oh, yeah. Women had a Lulu phase. God.
Lee Lu.
Oh,
Say it
Lulu.
right.
Right.
Yes.
Don't
Lilu.
Lulu Dallas. Yes, that was one of my favorite movies.
Of course.
Yep.
Well, going on from your horror movies, I have one more top five topic.
Oh,
You know, going from American movies, going to back to Japan. It's almost like I live there.
nice.
But they have their own like little myths, their own little like horror stuff, their own little horror stories. So I'm going to take y'all across the pond and kind of give you guys Juggernaut's top five Japanese scary stories and urban legends. And like they're in Japan. I mean, it's of course it's a cultural difference, from us here in America. But I mean, they have things that are kind of similar to ours. They're based in their reality, but you can also see them based in ours, like how things are here in America as well. So in Japan, they have pretty much two kind of horror creatures. They have the yurei, which are ghosts of deceased people, and then you have your yokais, which are the mythical spirits.
Yeah.
They're mythical spirits, like fairies, like how we have fairies over here and stuff like that. So starting with my number five, we have Japan's very own Bloody Mary.
Hmm.
And like